Welcome to Bitten Off Flesh Reptiles. Hope you guys enjoy. Stick around and see what I have in store for you guys today. Don't forget, go check out Mad Bit. What's up, guys? Today I want to talk about what you should look for when you're buying a new snake or a new reptile in general. Because there's a couple of things you should be looking for. There's mites, respiratory infection, and then seeing if the snake's been well fed, properly well taken care of. And there's a lot of different things you could do to look for those. Now, one sign would be, when you go and you pick up a snake, a great thing to always do, sounds dumb, but I bring paper towels with me. Why? Because I could spray that paper towel with some water or F10 and I could wipe the snake. Why would I wipe the snake with a paper towel? Well, first off, a paper towel is white and the little mites, they're black, so they're really easy to see on the paper towel. So I run that paper towel down the snake and I look at that paper towel and you can tell if there's mites on that snake or not. Even if, you obviously want to look at it as well and you could see mites, but in case you don't see them, it's another way to be extra precautious to make sure you're watching for them. And then another thing you want to do is you don't have to open their mouth. Some people say you have to. I understand, some things work for others, so if this doesn't work for you, I understand. But when I'm picking up a snake, another thing I like to do is I will, kind of grab it by the head gently and I will pull its lip down. So that way I can see inside the lip lining where the gums are and everything to see if there's any bubbles or extra saliva or if the snake's drooling. Now, why I'm doing that is I'm checking for a respiratory infection. And on top of that, while you're looking for a respiratory infection, you can always also take the snake. Yes, it's a new snake, but new snake or not, I always put them up by my ear. Yes, it's kind of iffy having a new snake by your face, but you want to hear their breathing. You want to see if you can hear whistling or if you can hear clicking, like it's a sound. It's a very distinct sound. It's not hard to hear if a snake has a respiratory infection, unless it's very, very early signs and symptoms where you don't really notice it yet. But you want to listen for wheezing and stuff like that, which is another sign for a respiratory infection. And then on top of that, Jeff James showed me this. You can hold your hand under its belly about, let's say, a quarter of the way down the snake, maybe a little bit further up by the head, and you can feel the snake breathing, and you can feel it vibrate if it's got a respiratory infection or if it's kind of congested. So that was another cool thing. So make sure when you guys pick up your pets that you look for these things, because a lot of places, not saying or bashing nobody, but a lot of places, when you go to expos, there are a handful of animals that are malnourished, underweight, have mites or a respiratory infection, and that's because this person or breeder is trying to, just sell off this animal, and it's just about money. So you gotta always make sure that you look at what you're buying besides just it looks pretty. You gotta make sure that it's in good health, because say you go and spend just $50 on a snake because that's all you can afford, or that's just because that's what you decided that's what you're going to go with when you left that day to the show. So you go there and you buy a snake for $50. Now you saw a couple, but you're like, this one's real pretty, I want it, but you don't look for, mites or respiratory infection and stuff. Now that right there is going to add to more cost on top of it, plus it's just a hassle. Now it's always nice to save a snake and stuff in need, but for people starting off getting into reptiles, it's not something you want to have to necessarily deal with right out the bat when you're getting into the hobby or just getting one as a pet. So it's always better safe than sorry to examine any pet that you buy, whether it's reptile related. But this right here, I'm trying to talk about just when you're picking up snakes and lizards, well, snakes more in general, because you can listen for a respiratory infection, you can see mites, you can use the paper towel thing so you can actually see the mites on the paper towel. On top of, I don't like probing or popping, so I have, a buddy come over and do it, or I bring it over to another local breeder's house and I have them do it for me. I know how to pop, but I don't know. I get nervous when I try it, so I'd just rather not. But later in the future I will. But for now, that's just all I wanted to go over with you guys, is to make sure you go over your reptile, make sure it's healthy and everything else, and make sure if you are going to take it in to save it that you know what you're looking at before you bring it home. So that way it's no surprise to you and no budget cut. So the snake has to wait longer before it can get help. Alright guys, much love. Thank you guys for watching this video. Sorry I didn't get to show anything cool in here, but I just want to make sure that everybody's aware that, you know, there are a lot of places selling sick stuff or stuff with mites, and yes, it's not that big of a deal and you can treat for it, but there's a lot of people that don't know how to treat for it or don't even know what to look for. So this video is for you guys, and I hope everybody enjoyed it. I hope somebody learned something from this and that it helps somebody else in the future. Alright, once again, much love guys. I love you all. Hope you guys have a great night.